I am raw to the bone. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Come on in, come on in. I'm going to start y'all out with the positive vibes of the day. I don't even know how I'm sitting here with this energy in front of y'all right now. I got to tell y'all about my weekend, well, about yesterday anyway, right? Because I spoke to y'all during the weekend. Anyway, let's move over to it's going to be a good day because it is, y'all.
Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Ha! Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do. Hey, good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time. Yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take. I try to pick one. Good morning, Mika. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up. Hey, today's gonna be a good day. Life ain't easy, yo. I think there's a reason, though. Ups and downs, just like every different season. Hey, sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, y'all. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, y'all. Negative thoughts are poison the ride. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Hey, what? So I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive vibes so overtaken. I got patience. One day at a time, that's how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. Hey. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Hey, good morning, Dan. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Oh, hey, JDW. Step 4. Hey. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome, JDW from TikTok. I love that. Thank you for joining my show. You know, in the morning times, I go on TikTok, not as much as I used to, but I play music, you know, and I just make my coffee while listening to music and singing and getting in my mood for the morning. But I invite TikTok in while I do that. You know, it's my typical every morning routine. But I just hit the live button on TikTok and I go from there. You know what I'm saying? And I have a good time doing it. I love it. And the people on TikTok, you know, they appreciate it. I'm getting a smaller and smaller population of people that come on and say dumb shit because, you know, I'm really on there for positivity and not negativity. So I try not to feed into the negativity, but I'm with the shit sometimes. Okay. I am with the shit sometimes. Like this morning on TikTok, someone asked me what the meaning of waist beads was. And I thought it was a great question. And so I answered that question, but then they asked me, they said they never seen a body one before. And I said, this is not considered a waist bead. It's a body chain. Okay. And I don't know if it has a purpose. I just love body chains. And so I had the woman who makes my earrings and bracelets. I had her make this body chain for me. I asked her specifically for this, right? I drew it out for her. I gave her another body necklace that I had, and I asked if she can make it out of our continent colors because, I'm blackity black. I rocks my culture in any way that I can. And so the body chain, I don't think has any meaning to it, but I'm going to look it up.
I just like adorning my body with jewelry. If I could have adorned my body with tattoos, I would have, but I was very scared to get fully tatted up because of my career options, right? And so do I regret not being tatted up sometimes? Because I feel like at my age, even though I just said on TikTok, age is just a number and you should be able to do anything at any age, right? I'm getting ready to contradict myself. I felt like, but I'm going to change that. I felt like at my age it's too late to get a bunch of tattoos, but is it? Is it really too late? I guess my fear is this with the tattoos, right? If my skin starts to wrinkle, and I don't know at what point, because my skin is still very tight. So I think I got some more years on this body, okay? And so, I guess my fear was, good morning, mother. Good morning, Rochelle. My fear was if I got tattoos at this age and then my skin started to sag a little bit, what the hell would my tattoos look like? I don't want a bunch of saggy looking tattoos, right? Because then the tattoos won't look right. You won't be able to see the whole tattoo because skin is going to be folding over skin and shit like that. But I would absolutely love to have tattoos all over my body. I would. Like, I only got some, like they spread all over, but like I would really like to cover this tattoo up and do a half sleeve and then eventually a shoulder piece. I want to do shit like that, but JD, let's work out together. Where you live? How we gonna work out together? Do you live near me? I'm in New Jersey. And where we working out at? You got a gym? Or do you do outdoor workouts? We getting ready to hit the winter time. Okay, Mika, y'all are gonna give me some inspiration. You're gonna give me some. You don't think it's too late? JDW doesn't think it's too late. Oh, North Carolina, I just left there. I can't work. We'd have to work out together over the video. I was just in North Carolina. All right. But yeah, keep the body tight. Okay. All right. So maybe I'll go get me, maybe I'll treat myself too. Oh, FaceTime. Okay. All right. You got an iPhone. I like you already. Because if you would have been like, I can't FaceTime because I got an Android, I'd have been like, what? Yes, I'm judging those with Androids. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. All right. JDW, you would probably get frustrated with me because right now, literally what I do for workouts, I ride my bike. I have a Peloton. I ride that. I try to ride it 6 days a week, but yesterday I didn't get on it because I had a cramp that wouldn't stop cramping on the back. The muscle behind your knee, that hamstring muscle, but it goes through your knee. It was tight like a knot. My masseuse massaged the fuck out of it. He stretched the fuck out of it. And it started to get better, and I didn't want to irritate it yesterday. And so I didn't. And so today I got to get on my bike. All right. And so that's that. All right, y'all. So good morning. Good morning. I got to tell y'all before I get into reading a positive thought for the day, because we always start out here with a positive thought as people are joining. As you join in, make sure you give me the thumbs up as you're coming in. I know the weekend was long and we are recovering, and here the fuck we go back to work, right? It's like I feel like these long weekends, we need an extra day. But even, see how greedy I am? Like, I feel like Tuesday we should have been off too. Because I'm tired, y'all. Like, literally every weekend since before we went to Mexico, before the podcast went to Mexico, every weekend. You know what, Juanita? I'm going to need you to get an iPhone. Ever since the Coffee with Friends went to Mexico and came back, I've been busy ever since. Every single weekend. During the week, everything, right? Yesterday, okay, Kia calls me and goes, well, she been calling me and inviting me to shit all weekend, but yesterday she was like, listen, we could do one or two things. We could go to Donovan's Reef, which is Jersey Shore on the beach somewhere, right? And I said, I don't give a damn where we go. As long as I'm not driving, we could go anywhere you want. And she was like, I already know you're not driving. And I'm like, She got a better truck than me anyway. I mean, the fuck, let's drive your shit, right? And so she said Donovan's Reef, Jersey Shore, or good morning, Reginaldo from Brazil, or a backyard cookout, barbecue. And I was like, I don't want to get stuck in a backyard barbecue with a bunch of young folk, right? And so I was like, let's go to Donovan's Reef because I always like the beach. Well, y'all know during the show yesterday, she called me and I had her on speaker. She don't even know yet. I didn't even tell her. And she was like, bitch, my period is coming and all of y'all heard about it, right? And so we couldn't go to the beach yesterday, because she had her menses. So we had to change plans and end up at this barbecue. Baby, let me tell you about this barbecue. Good morning, Bravo with Sheila Network. Good morning, Sheila. Thank you for stopping by and giving me that love. And thank you for hitting that button. I really appreciate the support and the love. All right. Let me tell you what happened at this barbecue yesterday. So I walk in the barbecue. I have my cute little outfit on. Y'all follow me. You see, baby. I walked in there with my cute little outfit on, my little speedy bag, thinking we going to a cute barbecue. Soon as I walked in, okay, the owner of the house, he was like, no, the Louis Vuitton is not going to work. You need to go in the house and put your Louis Vuitton bag inside. Not just me. I looked down at Kia's feet. She had Louis Vuitton sneakers on. I said, well, what the fuck? We walk in, the people in the backyard had powder all over them. They were wet. People were being sprayed by water. They looked at me and they said, go and put your, good morning, Stacy. They were like, go and put your Louis Vuitton bag in the house. Protect your phone. They looked at my hair and they were like, you care about your hair getting wet or paint or powder being in your hair. And I was like, oh my God, I just washed this weave. Like, y'all know how hard it is to wash a weave, like with the tracks being sewn to your hair and shit like that. I was like, I don't want to wash it again. I just prayed to the gods that it wouldn't get too bad, that I'd be able to just wet it and pick through it. Well, baby, soon as I went in the house and put my Louis Vuitton bag down and Kia took her sneakers off because she said, fuck this, I'll be barefoot outside before I let them pour water and powder on my sneakers. I was like, girl, where did we come? Baby, I had the best time of my life. I got in that backyard. They powdered me up. They wet me the fuck up. The music was jamming. I was drinking. They had food to the nines. I mean, food. The backyard was full of people. They didn't ask us to pay for anything. Only thing they said was, bring what you drink. Baby, I bring what I drank. I was fucked up. I bought is it a fifth of the Honey Jack? I drank the whole fucking thing. And one beer. Baby. You know what time I got home this morning? I got home at 3:00 this morning. You know why? Because we left the barbecue after I got powdered up and wet up. We left the barbecue. I don't remember. I vaguely remember walking to the car. We get to the car. We end up at another bar in Jersey City. Okay. Get to this bar. I slept the whole time sitting in this bar. I don't know how long we were in this bar. I found a table in the corner. A water and powder. Yes, Juanita. I never been to one of them before. Okay. It was Eastern Parkway in somebody's backyard. Okay. We get to this other bar. I find a seat in the corner and I sleep and I could feel myself dripping, sweating. And I'm praying to the gods inside that I don't throw up because I'm very dramatic when I throw up. And I would have made a whole scene inside the bar. I was sweating bullets, y'all. I mean, I was soaking wet. Okay. By the time we left the bar, we get back to Kia's house. I couldn't make it home. I made it up to her house and slept on her couch until 2:00 in the morning. Okay. Then I got up and I left, jumped in my car, and I came home. I got home about 3 o'clock this morning. All right. I was fucked up. I had a great time though, but baby, Juanita, get your peoples. Juanita, get your peoples. I have never been to a water and powder. What is it called? Fete? I know. Listen, I was glad they didn't throw paint on me because people was blue and yellow and green. And I was like, oh my God, I hope I missed the paint because I could get the powder out my weave. But I ain't want no paint in it. And this guy had a whole paintball outfit on talking about he was going to dirty me up. But he spared me. I had a great time, y'all. I'm just saying, I needed to share that with y'all, all right? Let's see what Zen is saying about people with Androids. I love y'all, but Androids are awful, and I'm just talking about the dumb-ass operating system. But from a security perspective, they are terrible. There are thousands of malware packages for Droid. That is, you know what, Zen? Seriously, I switched to an Android for 1 year. You know how many viruses I had on my phone? I was like, hell to the no. I gave that shit back and I went right back to Apple. I don't fuck around. My computer is iMac. The only Windows operating system shit I have is my work laptop, and that's because they take care of all the security nonsense on it. But everything else is Apple because I don't get no viruses on my shit at all. At all. Thank you, Apple. I know y'all cost more money, but peace of mind. My mother is always having trouble with her Windows laptop. It drives me nuts. Like, as soon as she says to me, oh my God, Robin, I'm getting all these pop-ups, I be saying to myself, oh my God, can she please get a Apple laptop? Because I don't feel like it. It gives me a headache. Like, I don't even want to deal with it. I don't. I really don't. You said she could have gone to the beach, plug and play. You know, you could have gone to the beach, plug and play, but it's still not comfortable, especially when your period first start. You don't really want to be constantly getting off the beach, going to the bathroom, dealing with all that sand and dealing with your period. You know what I'm saying? And so we ended up in the backyard barbecue. And I'm gonna tell you no lie, Juanita, I'm glad the barbecue was the bonfire. I had a time. I'm glad we went to the damn barbecue. I am glad. I don't even remember the guy's name who gave the barbecue, but baby, you did that shit. You did it. You did it. Okay? And it was in Jersey City. He did it. He did it. Okay? See, y'all, I'm telling you, Androids are a pain in the ass. Yep. Well, Juanita, I didn't know that I was going to a paint and powder water fete. I didn't know that. She invited me to a barbecue, so I was just looking cute. She didn't even know. She didn't know. Now I know. You never had a virus on your phone? You probably just don't realize. I've broke them all. That's why I have a black view. What's a black view? Apple is not a cult, Stacy. Stop that. Stop that. Good morning, Pat. Good morning. All right. I'm going to go in and read today's positive thought, September 5th, right? Because, you know, September is the month of trust, right? And let me tell you, yesterday's read was deep because, you know, it had me sitting there scratching my head. It had me asking myself some questions. It had me thinking to myself, you know, am I not trusting myself, right? A lot of times when, you know, based on yesterday's read, you know, you are afraid to get into relationships. You're afraid to get hurt again. You're afraid to trust people, even friendships, right? Again, because based on past experiences, right? But based on yesterday's read, one of the things that it said was, is it that you don't trust other people or is that you don't trust yourself, right? Because we see the signs, okay, show up, right? We see certain behaviors and sometimes we brush them off and we try to make excuses for the person's behavior, or, you know, we make it into something other than to make ourselves feel better. And really and truly, they were really showing us who they were. who they are, right? Sometimes we ignore the signs early on. And that's where yesterday's read said, learn to trust yourself, because that's where we mess up, right? And we want to be so mad at the other person for hurting us or breaking our hearts or doing something that we don't think we can forgive, or it might take us some time to forgive, and we wind up blaming them. But no, we have to look at ourselves. We have to look at the choices the choices we choose, right? Choose to stay in relationships, choose to still be in friendships that are not serving us purpose. And we see all the signs, but we stay anyway. And then when something major happens and it breaks the relationship, then we sitting there like, how the fuck did I put up with this? Why did I put up with this? This is crazy. I feel stupid. No, you don't have to feel stupid. What we do need to do is pay attention to the red flags and the signs that we see early on and trust ourselves, trust our own instinct to choose the right path, right? Sometimes we got to turn around and look at ourselves, all right? And so that was yesterday's message. Let's see what today's message is as y'all are arguing over Android and Apple. I love it. September 5th. I experience and express the power of trust because I put my trust in the right things for the right reasons. Until today, Ayanna Vanzan. While many of us think that we do not trust ourselves or others, we are always demonstrating some degree of trust. Trust is an essential element of our daily lives. We trust that when we go to sleep at night, we will wake up in the morning. When we are ill, we trust doctors and nurses to tell us how to get better. We trust banks with our money. We trust teachers with our children and mechanics with our cars. Still, for one reason or another, when it comes to our one-on-one relationships with other people, trust seems to be difficult. The truth is that we can and do trust. Unfortunately, we sometimes put our trust in the wrong things. Once we are hurt by someone, we trust that we will hurt again. We trust that the politicians who make up the government will lie to us. We trust that on any given day, something horrible could happen to us. In preparation, we live behind alarms and fences, and we cross the street anytime we see some dangerous looking person coming in our direction. For many, the issue is not how do you learn to trust. The issue is how do you learn to put your trust in the right thing. There is light of love and compassion in every human being. If each of us were to set an intention to be loving and compassionate at all times, our light would begin to shine. As we learn to see the light in everyone and to be the light to everyone, we would learn to trust the light. Learning to trust your light does not mean that you will never face or experience difficulty, but you can trust your light to reveal even more untrustworthy person. And you can trust that your light will let you know how to handle it. Until today, you may have believed that you had to learn how to trust. Just for today, examine the thing that you put your trust in and ask yourself why. Today, I am devoted to allowing the love and compassion of my soul to shine through me in all situations. That was a good read for today. Trust, right? You know, we talk about we don't trust getting into a new relationship. We don't trust rebuilding certain friendships, right? But yet we trust the bank with our money. We trust the mechanic with our cars. Like, do you ever leave a mechanic and think, oh, what if my car breaks down? How do I know that mechanic didn't do the right thing, right? We trust these teachers with our kids, right? But when it comes to, like this book said, when it comes to one-on-one relationships, we struggle with trusting each other, right? And the book that says we need to focus on the things that we put our trust in and ask ourselves, why do we trust these things? Why? What makes these things so trustworthy, right? And then maybe it will start changing how you trust in other areas and aspects of your life. Pat said, if we don't trust ourselves and go with our gut feelings, things turn out an absolute mess, and we usually know we messed up. And that's the part, right, Pat? Taking accountability of things that happen. The most popular thing is relationships, romantic relationships, significant others, right? People will be in relationships for a long period of time, ignoring red flags, ignoring the signs, right? And then when something traumatic really happens in their relationship, they're embarrassed, they feel stupid, or they start asking themselves. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I have asked myself, oh my God, how could I let this happen? How could I be so dumb? I have been there. But when I think about it, when I unpack most of these situations, and I really think to answer those questions that I'm asking myself, how did I fucking get here? I feel so stupid. How did I let this happen? If I really reflect, right, I can answer those questions. How did I let this happen? It's been happening over a period of time. You ignored the signs, Robin. You ignored the red flags. Okay? You made excuses for their behavior until the behavior affected you. You understand what I'm saying? I have made this mistake in business, right? Dealing with certain business people and trusting them, right? And then when they did me dirty, I turned around and I said, oh my God, how the fuck did I let this happen, right? But then when I reflected on the business relationship I had with them, I saw how they navigated business with other people. And I saw how they mistreated some of their other clients and customers. And it should have been a tick mark to say, hey, take that as a tick that they might do that shit to you. But I ignored it. And then they turned around and they did the shit to me. Right? And so I took some accountability in that arena, because you know what? I needed to trust my instincts. Like Pat said, trust your gut feeling. Don't massage things into something that they are not. People show you who they are at all times. Go with that. Okay? Go with that. What roast session? What did I miss? Getting these kids out of my house until 12. I'm dead. Oh, because school is back in. Oh my God. Are the kids in New Jersey and New York back to school, or do they go tomorrow? When do these kids go back to school here? Oh my God. And Georgie, yes, I was out of paint. I saw you comment, but I was already on my show asking if I was out of paint and powder. Fete, yes, I was. No, I was. Y'all said, we struggle with people because they've shown us that we can't trust. Most doctors and professionals aren't biased and just want to get paid. Are biased or aren't? Relationships are personal. Are biased. Okay, relationships are personal. But think about that, y'all. Relationships are personal, right? But we're trusting doctors and nurses with our lives. And you're right. They don't know us personally. Isn't that more of a reason why we shouldn't trust them? As much as we trust those that are close to us, one-on-one relationships. Like, why do we struggle as a population of people to trust one-on-one personal relationships, but we trust strangers more readily? I mean, it's something to think about, right? Because today's read says, think about where you put your trust and ask yourself, why do you put your trust there? Deb said, okay, so does it matter when it happens to us personally? Why do we ignore how other people are treated? You brought up something extremely interesting, Raw. Because the reason why I brought that up, Deb, is because it played out in my life. That's why. It played out in my life in business, right? And I saw how these people were treating other people. And so that was like a tick mark for me going forward. And I apply that in business and personal relationships now. Like, I watch how people treat other people, right? Because even in my personal life, like, I've watched people treat other people in ways, right? And for whatever reason, I thought that maybe my relationship with the person was so special that they would never treat me that way. Baby, I was wrong. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. So one of the tick marks that I have added, okay, along this healing journey is pay attention to how people treat other people. You know, there's that saying, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the saying full out, but you know, pay attention to how people speak to like the waiters, the waitresses, servants, whatever the case may be, right? Somebody that might have a lower position than you. Pay attention to how people treat those people, right? And let me tell you something. What I have learned in real life is that ultimately, if you see how this person treats other people and they are disrespectful or they're mean, right? Or they're toxic to other people, baby, believe you me, take that as a note that could be you one day. It was me, business-wise and personal. Okay? Not paying attention to how other people treat other people. So as far as that question, I don't know if anybody wants to answer Deb's question. Does it matter when it happens to us personally? And why do we ignore how other people are treated? Why do we ignore that? I bet you if you look in your friendship circle right now, or your family, or your significant other, right? One of the things that I noticed in my last relationship, right, is they're not a close-knit family, right? They don't do family gatherings. And see, I'm very big on being with my family and stuff like that. Good morning, Ghost. And so I noticed that that was a tick that I should have ticked. This person, they're not close. And I used to make suggestions like, oh, if I cook once a month a big dinner, why don't you have your brothers and the kids and their kids and everybody come over to the house once a month and we have like a family dinner? First response I got was, nah, they're not going to do that. They don't do stuff like that, right? And I brushed it off and I brushed it off and I brushed it off. But then when I realized that I was doing stuff with my family, my ex, you know, he would make small comments and remarks like, oh, you know, Dad, you travel and see your mother a lot. Sir, that's my mother. If I see my mother 4 times a year, that's good, right? But he thought that was excessive. He was like, I don't know anybody that flies out and visits their mom as much as you do. Okay, because you don't. And so it was like little things like that. And then when I rented the cabin in Tennessee, me and my brother rented the cabin in Tennessee, and I came back, like he didn't go with me to that family event. Like he wasn't engaged, and I kept brushing it off. And I was like, you know what? Eventually it started to become an issue in our relationship, right? And I said, you know what? This is my fault. This is my fault because the signs were there. They were there. Okay. And I kept brushing it off like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. But then when it started to affect our relationship, because here it is, I'm trying to do stuff with my family. And I always have this thing. If I'm in a relationship with you and you call me your person, you're my significant other. If I am doing a lot of shit by myself, I'm fucking single. I'm fucking single. If I'm going to events by myself all the time, or if I'm over here by myself, I don't give a damn whether you're into these events or not into these events. You tired, you want to lay the fuck down. If I am always at events by myself or with my homegirls or my homeboys, I'm single. Okay? And that's how my relationship started to play out, because I did not pay attention to the red flags in the beginning and throughout our dating. All right. I ignored them and I brushed them off as something that I could deal with, but I couldn't deal with it. Right. Because we were different in the aspect of socializing with our families. And so we have to trust our instincts. We have to pay attention to the red flags that we see. Y'all said, Roy, that happened to my girlfriend. Her hubby was mean and she was cool with it until he started treating her badly. Listen. Sometimes we think shit is cute. Like when we start dating and your man is very sarcastic and shit like that, you be like, oh, he's so cute. It's just sarcasm. And then when you find out that that's the way he fucking communicate across the board at all times, you like, this shit ain't cute. Pay attention to how people are and what they show you. And stop making excuses for it. Right? And then we can avoid sitting in a corner feeling stupid a lot of times. Oh, I don't trust doctors and lawyers. Lord, please, because my lawyer, you know, they will lie and they will sell your ass down the drain in a minute. We better advocate for yourself. You better advocate for yourself and stay on top of them. I'm telling you. I stay on my doctors, but now my doctors handle me with like white glove service because I don't know. I'm in the middle of a thing. And so the doctors are very careful with me at this point. It's good and it's bad. But I'm with you, Pat. Like these doctors and these lawyers, Lord help us. Lord help us. Okay. What did Hillbilly say? I don't trust doctors or teachers or the government. I know that. I know that's right. Oh, y'all seen that movie Painkillers? Oh, that reminds me of something else. Well, a couple of things, right? Painkillers is a series that's out that shows the epidemic of the opioids, you know, using Vicodin and Percocet and the addiction and how that spread. And it's so damn unfortunate, right? But I didn't finish watching the whole series because I don't know, it's too much for me, right? But it's reality, all right? And Hillbilly said every opioid illegally done is prescribed by a doctor. If you were harmed by your doctor, call this number now. Okay? All the lawsuits going on, right? I know. Happy New Day, Cheryl Lee. Y'all said, I used to ask why he is so mean. She'd say, girl, that's just how he is. As long as he treats me good, I'm all right. See? But then ultimately, he started to treat her like he treated everybody else, right? Because she thought that he was just mean to everybody else and he wasn't going to be mean to her. Because we ignore these red flags to be in relationships based on other shit. Okay? We got to start learning to trust ourselves. See people for what they show and who they are. Good morning, Jay. 1/3 of my graduating class is dead. Why the hell, Hillbilly? Why? Age, opioids? Are you saying because of opioids? That is very unfortunate. You know, I have a house full of Vicodin and Percocet. I hate those pills. Like, literally, I have an aunt who used to be addicted. I don't know if she still is or whatever. I'm not, you know. I don't know. That's my mama's sister. Okay. She used to be addicted and she used to beg my mother to send her these pills, right? And when I told her, I was like, oh my God, I got a house full. She used to be like, oh my God, can you send me? No, I will not. I will not send you any pills. These pills are piled up in my house. I'm about to pull them all together and take them to CVS pharmacy and give them back because I don't even want the shits in my house at this point. I don't take Percocet. I don't take Vicodin. They give you all that shit up in the hospital after I had my car accident and when I used to have very, very bad menstrual cramps and all kind of shit. That's the shit that they give you. I don't want it. I don't want it. I need to pack it all up and take it to CVS and give the shit back because I don't even want it. West Virginia was the hardest hit state for opioids. Wow. Y'all say, Hillbilly, I know people that experience that too, either heroin, OD, or gun violence. So y'all, can we talk about something real quick? I want to make sure, 1 second. I gotta get the right so wait 1 second. Does it say where this happened? Oh, Texas. Okay. So Houston. Let me put the guest link up there real quick. So I had a topic several times on here where the question was asked. I asked the question, do we protect our women? Do we protect our women, right? That was a question I asked on this show maybe a year or so ago. I had this topic on here. And within that topic, I also asked, do we protect women even when they're not our women, meaning our significant others or a stranger? They just strangers. Like we're walking down the street and we see a woman is being attacked or harassed by another guy. Do we protect our women? My nose is running. Sorry, y'all. Do we protect our women, right? And so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what happened on, what was it, yesterday or the day before, was a woman got hit in the face with a brick. Did y'all hear about that story? Did y'all hear about that story? No, I didn't hear about that movie, Johnny, but I'm gonna look it up. Woman says a man hit her in the face with a brick. That story is all over the paper, all over social media. Videos are flying around. Her whole side of her face is swollen. All because a gentleman asked for her phone number. This is what the story is. He asked for her phone number and she said no, she wasn't interested. This man picked up a brick and hit her in the face, okay? In the midst of a crowd full of people. This happened in Houston, Texas, okay? A crowd full of people and not one person helped her. I just asked this question a year ago. Do we protect our women, right? How is this man able to hit this woman in the face with a brick? First of all, I don't know where in Houston y'all just got bricks laying around in the street, or if he carried a brick in his pocket just to hit women when they said no. I don't the fuck know. I didn't read that level of detail into the story. But I don't know. To me, it is so disappointing. And when I think we are getting better as a people, I hear stories like this and I be like, damn, y'all. Like, I mean, as a woman myself, when I walk down the street, I wonder, like, is somebody going to help me if I'm being attacked? And when I read stories like this, I don't know. It's like I struggle with having faith in humanity, because how is there a crowd of people and not one person helped her? Okay. The story said, on Sunday, let me put my phone over here so I can read this shit. It said on Sunday in a video on Instagram posted by the Shade Room, right? From Ro Bashi, the woman can be heard saying, y'all, this man just hit me in the face with a brick. And all these black men just watched. This man grabbed a rock. Oh, it was a rock. For 1 minute they say brick and the next minute they say rock. Okay. The man grabbed a rock and hit me in my face because I wouldn't give him my number. Bash continued to yell at the crowd of men near her and said, I want you to be a man and do something. You're going to let this man hit me in the face? The next video shows Bash in the hospital wearing a gown with a large swollen bump on the side of her face. In the video, she continued to say that the crowd of men just watched her get hit, get a brick thrown at her, let the man get in the car and leave. How is this okay? Now, this woman hollered for help in the crowd, asking these men that are watching to help her, and they did not. Okay? The video posted to social media does not show the exact moment of the alleged altercation, and Newsweek cannot independently verify if Bash was hit by a man with a brick. According to Shade Room, this occurred in Texas. Okay, she got an ambulance. She claimed the man hit her in the face with a brick after she declined. She had a concussion and she was unable to chew. A woman was hit in the face by a brick by some game goofy non-FBA dude. I don't know what FBA means. And a bunch of other non-FBA dudes just stood around and watched. Now there are people trying to be on some blame black men vibe. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? What do y'all think about this situation? Okay, so it pissed y'all off. What do y'all think? Like, what's happening in our society that this could happen in a crowd full of people and nobody helps, right? Cheryl Lee said, right, is it true that she was in a not so favorable part of town? I don't know what side of town. It doesn't really say what side of town she was in. It just said Houston. It doesn't say what part of town. A lot of people bashed her because she is a lesbian. Oh, I didn't read that part, Stacy. The girl who got hit with a brick in the face is a lesbian. And people, I didn't hear that part. Cheryl Lee said, I don't understand with today's phones recording everything that someone didn't get a tag number. People are afraid to intervene out of fear of losing their lives. There are countless stories of people interjecting and becoming casualty. You know, this is funny, but not funny. I remember years ago, a friend of mine, right, told of an incident that occurred. I mean, his face was fucked up. I remember this as if it happened yesterday. His eye was fucked up. He was all bruised up. And he told us the story of how it happened. Now, for those that are from New York, you'll know these train stop references, right? Now, the 5 train at 149th Street station is where people normally transfer from the 4 train to the 5 or the 5 to the 4, whatever the case may be. 149th and Grand Concourse, right? And my friend was running down the stairs coming from the 4 train to catch the 5 train. And you know, when you come down the stairs, you're at the back of the train. And so he didn't have time to kind of run to the middle of the train, and it was late at night. And so he just ran to the train door, jumped on the train, and sat the fuck down. He said when the train doors closed and he looked around, he realized he ran into the wrong car. This car was in the middle of being robbed. And these guys was harassing this woman, asking her to take her shit off or whatever the case may be. And it was an older lady. And my friend was like, yo, just leave her alone. Like, he tried to interject. Now, this is years ago. This is like 15, 20 years ago, whatever. He interjected and was like, man, just leave her alone. She's an older lady. Just leave her alone. Well, why? The guy turned around and was like, oh, you want to mind other people's business? And he, you know, my friend is still trying to talk this burglar off the edge or whatever the case may be. So now the burglar is like, nah, I need you to take your ring and shit off. My friend had his rings and shit on, took his rings off, gave it to this guy because this guy got a weapon, gave it to this guy. The guy put my friend's rings on and turned around and punched him up in his face with his own rings. Like, the guy took the rings and put them on his finger and punched up my friend. And so my friend had a black eye and was bruised the fuck up from his own damn rings that this person stole from him and hit him with. And so he telling us the story, but the way he telling us the story, he's real dramatic about it. So we're laughing, but it's really not funny because this is what happens when people intervene and they try to save other people. This man is on the train and he trying to, speak up for an older lady. Nobody else on the train speaking up for this older lady that's being harassed, all right? And he speak up and he wind up fucked up in the face. He can't, this guy got a gun at this point. He's like, I'm not going to fight this guy. I'm going to give him my rings. But did I expect him to turn around and punch me up in my face with the rings? So you're right, Deb. People are afraid to intervene out of fear of losing their lives. There are countless stories of people interjecting and becoming a casualty. And that's a true story. And you know what my friend said? I'm going to mind my business next time. That's what the fuck he said. And I was like, oh my God, you can't do that. He said, no, I can. I'm going to mind my business because that didn't make no fucking sense. And that's the sad thing. And that's probably what's happening. Hillbilly said, men aren't allowed to be men anymore. What do you mean, Hillbilly? What does this mean? Men aren't allowed to be men anymore. What are we saying? What has changed in the dynamics of being a man? Why are men not allowed to be men anymore? What stops them? Y'all said, Stacy, that was one of the most disappointing parts to see the video coming from men online. I'm done trying to convince men that women should be protected. Why do you think that we are still convincing men that women need to be protected? See, for me, a itch ass moment. Men always try to go and lean on that equal rights shit. Oh, y'all wanted equal rights. You wanted to do what we do. You wanted this. You wanted that. And they use that as an excuse to not do what they should be doing for you, right? They use that as an excuse to hang there, provide, and protect on a hanger somewhere, right? They use that as a scapegoat type thing, by throwing it on women, saying we want to be independent. So what does that mean? Y'all don't have to protect us. Y'all don't have to provide for us. You don't have to do any of that. So what the fuck? Why are we still finding ourselves trying to convince men that women need to be protected? Black women especially. I mean, Cheryl Lee said, calling 911 and videoing like everyone normally does would have helped. True. People do suck, Stacy. Ghost said, I'll be honest. This is one of the sad truths about all that independence women fight for and needing no man. Chivalry is almost completely gone. Why though? All because women ask for equality, chivalry is gone. I find that to be men throwing tantrums. Like, there's a population of men, because it's not all men. There's a population of men, that feel that because women want equality, that means that chivalry is off the table. It does not mean that. Not for me. Not for me. How does that stop a man from doing what he's supposed to do? Okay, just because women want equality. That doesn't mean that we don't want to be protected. That doesn't mean we don't want to be provided for. The fuck? Oh, okay, Stacey. I didn't realize that. Johnny said, I agree at Deb. We live in a world of self-preservation. People just want to make it home. Are people wrong for that? Are people wrong for just wanting to make it home at night? Right? Because we have to ask ourselves that question too. Like, we watched all these men watch this guy hit this woman in the face with a brick. But then on the flip side, people want to go home at night. What do we do? What do we do? Hillbilly said, most likely the man that saves the woman would be arrested. The woman would be fined and the assailant would file a lawsuit. Okay, Hillbilly. Hey, I am Jacinta. Stacy said independent is one thing. A dude hitting a chick with a brick is something else. Completely. Exactly. But that's fucked up. That is fucked up. That shit right there is fucked up. A lot of men see independence is for every situation. Really? Really? Stacy, don't do us. Don't do us like that, cause the fuck, don't do us. Okay? Don't do the Bronx like that. Okay? That motherfucker was probably from Harlem, riding a fucking train. Okay? And y'all want to talk about the Bronx? I remember I was on a train, and I told this story a million times. Y'all probably heard it several times, where that guy on the train stood in front of me when I was at the, you know how you get on the train and you lean up against the doors? You know, I was leaned up against the door and I smelled this guy walk by. He smelled so damn good. And I was like, oh, he caught my attention. And I turned and I saw he was carrying a messenger bag. I assumed he was a messenger, you know, because back then, 20-something years ago, they were doing messengers, right? But he pickpocketed somebody and I saw him do it. And he saw me see him do it. And he went in between the train and he emptied out the wallet of the money and then threw the wallet out, right? And when he came back through the train, he stood right in front of me, like he held onto the handle and he stood right in front of me like this, real close. And the train was crowded. There was a person standing right next to me. They heard what was going on, okay? This man stood in front of me, okay? And looked me right in the face, this close. And he said, I know a motherfucker better mind their business. And he stood there in my face, did not move. The train went from 72nd Street to 96th Street to 125th Street. He got the fuck off at 125th. I was so damn glad because I said, if this motherfucker ride the train with me all the way to the last stop, Dyer Avenue, I'ma fucking die. Nobody on the train was helping me. They saw this motherfucker was in my face. They knew that the situation wasn't right. Nobody helped me. No, they didn't. That's one situation. Another situation that happened on the train is we're coming from the Bronx because the 5 train comes through the Bronx, right? And when it gets to 72nd Street, that is the first station where all the white people get on. I'm just being honest, right? And there was a guy on the train that had gotten on at Simpson Street or whatever in the Bronx, blasting his radio because back in those days, people carried their boom boxes, played their music. He blasting his music, right? 72nd Street, white people get on. Now, this white construction worker got on and he's holding on to the pole in the middle of the train. And the guy with the music is standing there too. He looks at the guy and he says, turn your radio down. The guy with the radio looking at him like, basically, you could kiss my ass. The construction guy said, listen, I'm going to count to 10. I'm going to count down from 10. By the time I get to 1, that radio better be turned the fuck down. And the Spanish guy was like, or else what? He said, you'll find out. Here I am sitting down. These motherfuckers are in front of me. I got high heel shoes on because I used to go to and from work with high heel shoes. I got in my ready, set, go position because I said, if these motherfuckers start fighting, I got to figure out where I'm going. The train is crowded at this point. This motherfucker started counting. 10, 9, 8, 7. When he got down to 5 and I saw that the radio wasn't going down, I got the fuck up and started to haul ass. This construction worker said, bada boom, ba ba, start punching this Spanish guy up in the face. I ran across motherfuckers' laps in my high heel shoes. People that was sitting down in the seats, I ran across their lap. Get the fuck out my way. Nobody helped that Spanish guy. This construction guy punched the shit out of this Spanish guy. And when the doors opened at But because by this time now, we leaving 96th Street and we're going to 125th Street. I mean, 96th Street, and we're leaving 96th Street and we're going to 72nd. I had it backwards. 96th Street is the first stop after the Bronx where white people get on, right? We get to 72nd Street and this motherfucker, the doors open. The construction guy picked the motherfucking Spanish guy up, threw him out the train and his radio. Nobody helped. Okay. Once the doors open and he threw the Spanish guy out with his radio, the doors, people kindly got back on the train. The doors fucking closed and everybody kind of sat the fuck back down and the train went to 42nd Street. People just went on about their fucking day. Nobody helped this Spanish guy. Now, I mean, most people were like, oh, damn, good. He turned his fucking radio down. This, they were probably relieved. But still, y'all, I'm just saying the shit that just be happening in public and nobody helps. You said you're a hero. I mean, shit be happening. Hillbilly said equal rights doesn't allow a man to intervene. It's mansplaining, self-defense now. I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm so lost because I had no idea that equal rights meant that women got to fight for themselves physically against another man and nobody help. Wow. Deb said, I'm going to add another element. What happens if it's a DV situation and someone interjects on your behalf and you leave with that person regardless? That has happened numerous times as well, a domestic violence. Well, listen, there was a couple that lived across the street from us, and Jamaican couple, and he used to whip his woman's ass all the time. Ma, I don't know if you remember this. Where were we living? 219th Street, one of them streets or whatever the case may be. And this lady, she didn't want nobody to intervene. It was mind your business when somebody tried to help her. I remember this. Sometimes domestic violence situations, listen, I've seen a few where you try to help them motherfuckers and they don't want to be helped. But that's a whole different topic. That is like, you need a therapist for that. You need somebody that deals with the mental from a real licensed perspective to deal with a person with that much trauma that they keep going back to a person in a situation of domestic violence. That's a bigger, because I know somebody. And they have normalized domestic violence for them, right? It's normal for them. I am Jacinta. Let me tell you, that's the life of living in New York. Okay, I know it's crazy, but it's the life of living in New York. Ghost said, when men constantly hear women scream, I don't need a man, then it gets hit in the face with a brick. Don't scream where the men at. Ghost, you don't really believe that, do you? You the person that say you do drive-bys and pull-ups and shootouts and shit, right? Over your woman. Your woman, I'm sure she doesn't need you. Not financially, right? I think that's what men get twisted. When we say we don't need our men, we're talking about financially in some cases, in most cases. When we're asking for equal rights, we're talking about equal rights in the workplace and being treated, equally. But, we still want our men to protect us. The fuck? Like, women don't, no matter how much we scream for equal rights, right? That's not going to give us the strength of a man. Physically, from a physical perspective, right? We're not talking about the small population of WWC fighters or whatever the fuck whatever the fuck fighters. We're not talking about them, right? And women boxers. We're talking about the average woman, all right? I think men, they are riding the coattails of the women asking for equal rights as an excuse for them to step down from the men arena. That's my opinion. Okay. And I know some men are not going to be happy with that opinion, but I do. I think that's an excuse for a lot of men to be like, oh, well, I don't have to do shit. But men know better. Deep down inside, y'all know damn well that y'all should be protecting us from a physical aspect. But y'all use this equal rights shit as an excuse to be less than. Shirley said, fuck that. You can't depend on someone helping today. You have to know self-defense, carry mace and legal to carry if possible. I'm telling you. Stacy said, a lot of men cannot handle independent women. Ego is a bitch. It is. It is. Mm. Chivalry is extra rights, not equal. Okay, hillbilly. Chivalry is extra rights, not equal. That's what you're saying? Johnny said, can I ask a question? How would you feel if your man or your child came home injured because he stepped in to try to help out someone? It's a great question. It depends. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel grateful that he returned home, right? Now, my son did step in and try to help somebody, and it did turn into an altercation, right? Homeless person, I think I told y'all this story. My son has a very soft spot for the homeless people in his neighborhood. And one day when he was waiting for his Uber, he saw a guy harassing a homeless person. And he went over there and he was like, what's up? And him and the guy wound up in an argument, right? And meanwhile, my son, whose Uber came, okay, and the guy said something to him, fuck you, or something to him. And my son was pissed off, but he got in his Uber and left. But the guy stopped messing with the homeless people. But my son, he let that shit eat him up all day. And he said, I'm going to look for that guy. I'm going to look for this motherfucker. I'm going to look for him. I'm going to look for him. And eventually he saw the guy again when he came outside. He said, Ma, I didn't care about the Uber. I chased that motherfucker. I said, oh, remember me? I was the motherfucker the other day that you cursed out. Okay. And my son chased this motherfucker a block and a half to try to catch this motherfucker because he wanted to fight him. I promise you, this is about a year ago. All right. He wanted to fight him because he said, how the fuck this motherfucker gonna curse me out because I want him to stop messing with the homeless people. So there are, I do have the son. I do have the son that will step in and help somebody. I do. And I don't know. I mean, I pray for his arrival home safely, but I also do not want to have the son that stands there and watches something and doesn't do anything about it. Now, I hope that my son is smart enough to call 911 when needs to be versus stepping in. I got to hope that he makes the right decision, but I do not want the child that just stands there and looks. Do fucking something. Call the cops. Do something. Ghost said, nah, it's not the men can't handle independent women. Don't ask to be independent and ask for help in the same breath. You want equal rights as us. We don't and can't ask for that sort of help. Wow. Okay. Y'all said demanding equal pay for the same work equals protect your damn self. Get the fuck out of here, ladies. Stay strapped. Man, y'all, this is what gets me. It's like men are punishing women because we ask to be, we ask for equal rights in pay and in position in our professional environments, right? That's what the equal rights movement was about. Men expanded that into, oh no, y'all want equal rights, so y'all got to do everything for yourself just equally, right? But that's not what equal rights was about. Equal rights was about fair occupational opportunities and money. right? But men are, there's a population of men that take that as, oh, that means that you fight for yourself. That means that you do everything for your fucking self. You out there. It's like they are punishing us because we want to be paid the same amount of money as them. So now fuck y'all bitches. Since you want to make the same money, go out there and learn how to karate chop for yourself too.
Y'all want independence and equal rights in everything on this planet, except for defending yourself. You want everything else to stay the same. I mean, to change, but you want that one thing to stay the same. Don't work like that. You want equal rights of a man. This is how men live. We don't sit there and protect each other. We don't bitch and complain when shit happens. We deal with it when it comes. But that's what I'm saying. That ain't. You know, that ain't how y'all see it. Y'all see like y'all want everything to change except for that one thing. Y'all want to live like a man, have all the freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk about old school days, from how it used to be. Like you wanted everything the same thing that a man got. But when you really realize how men live and what they deal with, now you don't want the shit no more. Now you want to be protected. You still want chivalry. You still want this other shit. No. Fuck all that. You wanted equal rights. This is the life we live. Welcome to it. Welcome to it.
So you think the equal rights movement was about, I want to equally fight a man, I want to equally do
everything. You wanted everything else to change. You wanted to pay to change. You wanted to vote. Everything in this.
But that's regular human rights.
No, but I'm talking about everything across the board.
No, it wasn't everything. No, see, that's where a population of men get it twisted. If you research equal rights has nothing to do with how you treat each other in a relationship. It has nothing to do with providing and protecting for your woman. It was all about the stance and position of a woman in the political climate, in our human rights element, as far as if I go to work and I work the same job as you, I want to be treated equal, right? That's what that was about. If men can vote, women should be able to vote too. That's what that was about. But then men took that and said, oh, because y'all want to be paid the same amount of money as us and because you want to be able to vote, do every the fuck thing for yourself too. That wasn't right. It was like y'all hated on the fact that we wanted more. And so a population of men punish women because we asked for more. By saying, now fuck you, now go out there and defend yourself. Now come on, that don't even sound reasonable. Now imagine your mother being assaulted by a man. Right? You mean to tell me, Ghost, you not gonna want to fuck that man up?
That's my mama.
But she's a woman. Why didn't she defend herself?
My mama. That's my mama. I don't give a fuck about another man's mama. That's my mama.
If you saw a woman being assaulted in public, you're not helping.
On some real shit, probably not. If I don't know them, probably not. You know what I'm saying? And it's mostly like because of what Dev said. Like motherfuckers out here crazy. Like you put yourself in another in somebody's business, you bound to lose your life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not losing my life behind somebody I don't know. No, I'm not doing it. Fuck you. I'm finna keep it pushing.
So Stacey, you say so you can help pay the bills, but you also have to accept being a subordinate. What do you mean by that? Well, don't expect any man to protect you unless it's your man. That's what you're saying, Ghost.
Yeah, real shit. Like, don't expect it at all.
Well, Pat, this ain't nothing new. When I was pregnant and I had to keep getting off the train to throw up and getting back on the train, nobody ever gave me a seat. These men would stand there and watch and be like, oh, the fuck well. And my son is 40. Okay, so this is 40 years ago. These motherfuckers been sitting down watching women stand up for decades. The fuck? I am Jacinta said, at Johnny, I would need to know all the details, but if he was defending a woman, I would be proud, especially if he beat the brakes off of them. My husband is easily triggered with men hitting women. Yeah. Okay. I know, Deb. Right? You'd just be glad that your child got home safe. Like my son is one that would intervene, and it's scary at times because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. But do I want him to stand there and watch some shit jump off? No. If you are afraid for your life, call the cops, do something.
can call the cops, but the cops ain't gonna get there quick enough to stop anything from happening. If shit is already starting to hit the fan, ain't nothing the police gonna be able to do. They gonna be there for the after effect.
I am to say, if my man came home after helping somebody, he has some lumps, I'm going to doctor him up and then give him some of this booty. I know that's right. You say you're a hero. I know that's right. I know that's right. I am to say, at Johnny, I would hope if I am ever in that situation without my husband, someone would intervene on my behalf. Baby, I'm just to listen. I be hoping too, but God knows that the world we live in, baby, I don't know. I don't know about somebody helping. Ron says chivalry is dead, and Robin, is dead, Robin, and women killed it. So we killed chivalry because we asked for equality. Wow. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I don't know. I'm still a woman that needs chivalry. I like my door open. You better fucking protect me. Listen, I'm at the point in my life. Y'all better come with some chivalry. I don't give fucks. Protect me. I will quit you. Now you know I'm already traumatized because I had a whole boyfriend beat up.
Okay.
I'm not.
I was just about to ask about that. I was saying, did you help that nigga in the movie theater fight?
It was a one-on-one fight.
It don't matter. It was a one-on-one
Yes,
between
it
that
was.
nigga
It
and that woman.
didn't matter.
It was one-on-one between
men.
that man and that woman.
Two men.
It was one-on-one between men and them. Nah, you just, but y'all said earlier, protect people.
You're asking a crazy ass question. If you think a woman should jump in on a fair one-on-one fight with two men, hell no.
You just mentioned, but you mentioned about the subway ride, about old buddy with the boombox or whatever, and you said when the construction worker beat him up and threw him out, nobody helped him. You know, we don't help each other no more.
I didn't say they
That
should have.
That was a one-on-one man fight. That was a one-on-one man fight. Right. Nobody helped him. So now this is another one-on-one man fight. In that movie, there was another one-on-one man fight. Why you ain't jump in and help?
Yeah, but listen to what you're asking. And I'm very shocked by this coming from you, Ghost, because not another man. Now, it would have been different if you would have said, did another man intervene to break up the fight? What I meant on the train is when I said nobody helped, I meant other men on the train to break up the fight, not to help beat the construction guy up or whatever the fuck was going on. But I meant break it up. Now, yes, in the movie theater, no man should ever expect a woman, me, especially me, to jump in on a one-on-one fight between two men. Now, I did expect another man or a set of men to break it up.
But that was your man. Why you expecting other people to help your man?
Okay, we're going to agree to disagree with that, Ghost. I'm never jumping in on a one-on-one fight with my man. Okay, now if another man would have jumped in, I might have got off the garbage can and tried to help out. But one-on-one, and I thought my man could fight. I didn't know until after that. Listen, one-on-one fight, hold yourself down. First of all, the men that I've dated, they even tell me, don't even bring your ass over here. They don't even want me getting in the middle of the fight because they don't want to see me get hurt. That's the kind of men I date. None of my men would ever expect me to jump in on a one-on-one fight. Is he crazy?
Well, no, I don't expect the woman to jump in either. I was making a point of you saying people don't help people anymore. It wasn't
I meant break it up. Like other men could have broke it up.
What I'm saying is, you said earlier, you mentioned that people don't help people, not man or woman. You didn't make it a gender thing. You made it a people thing. So it's still saying you're part of people.
Well, so, you're right. You're right, Ghost. I assumed, which is an ass of me, right? I assumed that would be understood that if it's men, that men should break it up. But you're right. In this population, in this climate, with men punishing women for asking for equal rights, people might interpret that as they expected a woman to get in there and do something. But that's not what I meant. Right. I mean, I feel like men should be stepping in if it's men. I mean, I didn't even think men expected women to do something like that. The world has changed. I mean, the fuck? Right, Stacy. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Somebody called and fuck my shit up.
They want to blame us so bad because they don't want to do what they're supposed to do. So they tell us that we are the fault for chivalry being.
But who said we were supposed to do that? It was in that granted, it's in us to provide and protect. There's two things: provide and protect. Y'all don't want us to provide no more. Y'all want, y'all started working and shit like that, and y'all took the providing from us and became independent. Okay, so now we only got one thing left,
How
but
do we
that don't sit right to us.
how did we take providing away from you? How?
We all right. Back in the gap, men was the sole provider. Women didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Women stayed at home. Then here come the fight for equal rights and all this other shit. You got out there, you started working, and everything else or whatever the case may be. And women became independent. I don't need a man. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a man. I can do this by myself and whoop, 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 whoop. So it's like you took one of the two key elements in us away from us, but you still want the other. Like we feel unbalanced. You know what I'm saying? We feel unbalanced. You don't want one, but you want the other. Nah, that shit don't sit right with everybody.
Cheryl Lee said you
It don't
must be
sit right with everybody.
Cheryl Lee said you must
You
be
say,
blamed because you got a whole daughter.
nah, I ain't playing. I'm gonna protect mine. Mine. You know what I'm saying? If I know you and you in my circle, I got you.
So if your
Other
daughter
than
is
that,
out in the
if you was
street,
a stranger,
wait, let me ask you a question. Your daughter out in the street and she came home and said a man hit me in the face with a brick and nobody helped me. You not gonna be upset?
if be upset that nobody helped her, no, I'm be upset that a motherfucker hit her with a brick.
Good
Okay.
morning.
Good morning, Mr. Enigma Love. What you got to say on this damn topic?
Hey,
Come
real
on. You
quick,
gonna be another one that blame women?
I'm on fire over here, boy.
Oh shit. Well, let's
See, y'all don't want to take accountability.
Look,
Women don't want to take accountability for how things are
on the
created
women's
now.
suffrage line. So go ahead.
so one, I want to address the equal rights thing. All right, the whole argument, the pay that has been debunked. So there is no pay gap because what you don't account for in the pay gap is hours worked. You don't account for um, degrees, time worked on the job. For an example, I was a teacher. If I came in year one, math teacher, it was 51,000. But there was a math teacher woman who was 76,000. Now you would think, oh, there's the inequality in pay. But she's been there 20 years. So she's climbed the ladder of pay. Then what you don't count for also is that men work more dangerous, harder jobs. They work 44 hours average on a week. A woman works 41. So that's never accounted for in this pay gap. If we could pay women less, then we would just hire all women. You wouldn't hire a man because the idea for having a business is to make a profit. So there is no pay gap. It's just that women work jobs that pay less than men. That's what they do. They're not in the math, the science, the engineering, not in those fields. They only represent 3%, but those fields pay high. And then in terms of the voting rights, women didn't want the right to vote. I don't know if y'all know that, because in order to vote, you had to sign up for selective service. That's the reason why they didn't want to vote. They got the right to vote now, and now that they get into the military, they're complaining because they can't keep up with the men. They have to lower the physical fitness standards for women. So that's the reason why women didn't vote back then, because they didn't want to. And I think Ghost made a good point when he talked about women being in the home and men did all the work. Now, when women joined the workforce, it brought down the pay because now you got a bunch of workers in the workforce. Whereas when it was only men, they got decent pay. But now you got so many people in the workforce. Now you can pay everybody less. So no, this is not an equal rights thing. That stuff has been debunked. There's no rights that you have that I have that you don't.
Right, no more.
No.
Anymore.
What other rights did I
If
have?
you want to be honest, y'all have more rights than us.
Y'all do, especially in paternity. You get the child.
No, how?
You get the child first. You get child support. Women are more likely to get their children. Women are more likely to get alimony in a divorce.
Really?
Men
Holly
don't.
Berry is
Men
paying
don't get that.
$1,000 a month to her husband, to her ex-husband.
Okay. you're talking about one woman. The majority of alimony,
Mary J. Blige is paying hers too.
you're talking about, okay, these are
The few
super
and far in between.
hyper successful women.
Also, we're gonna separate rich and poor, right?
So majority of men pay alimony.
I don't know any man that in my circle that pays alimony. I do have a bunch of male friends that pay child support, but not alimony.
I know that's anecdotal because you're only telling me about what you know. I'm talking
right.
about,
That's what I'm saying. I can only speak on what I know.
Right.
I can't give a stat on the whole world because I don't know. I can only give based on the population of people I know.
Yeah, but they do have statistics, and the statistics show that majority of men, there are more men that pay alimony, there are more men that pay child support, there are more men who lose custody of their kids. Even they have cases where even the woman is not fit, and yet the woman still gets the custody. So the women win in the court. They have that advantage over us all the time.
Man, like women, y'all got more rights because with all this equal opportunity employee shit and all the other thing, you will get promoted in a job before a man would. Like take a woman and say you want equal rights as a man. Like y'all are given the same options of all these jobs that we have, but y'all still don't choose them construction jobs.
Right.
You ain't choosing, you know what I'm saying, to be underwater welders. You're not choosing these hard, dangerous jobs. You still choosing to sit in the office and type on a keyboard. You know what I'm saying? You still choosing lighter jobs.
That's a great point, Ghost, because women deal with humanity. You know, that's why you see them in the health field. That's why you see them in education. They deal with people. Men deal with things. You know, we do the most dangerous jobs. That's why we get paid more. Even in the health field, women, the top paying job in the health field, I think, brain surgeon. Well, it's not. It's majority of the brain surgeons are male.
We debunked that already. You ain't have to pin that.
You know what I mean?
I was like, but also too, women have like y'all get things just based on the fact that you're a woman. Based on the fact that you look good, you get to skip a line, or you know what I'm saying, you get called up for some shit like that, or whatever, just based on your looks. Man, we don't have benefits like that. Like women, y'all get shit left and right just because you're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're a woman, shit is handed to you.
You think so?
It ain't like that. I know so.
Shit, I'm fucking up then.
Yeah, I know so. Yeah,
like it's me. I'm pretty sure it's men that didn't jump in your inbox. Somebody giving you money just cause you look good, want to trick on you just cause. Like I don't want to. I just want to. You know what I'm saying? When somebody spend my money on whatever, ain't no man ever gonna get no shit like that. Y'all would get that on a regular. Like there's a bunch of different ways that women benefit in this world that men would never benefit ever.
Jerry said I had to put one of my LLCs in my sister's name just to get all the grants. Are you?
I'm telling you. Women, y'all have more access to shit in this world than y'all think y'all do.
So because we have this access, right?
Y'all have it made.
Because we have this access, is that a reason for our men to stop physically protecting us?
I don't know where this narrative comes from, where black men don't protect black women. We do. You can go outside right now. If they see a woman get beat up by a man, you gonna get some man to be like, "Hey, man."
We're not saying they don't, right? We're just talking about situational stuff because I can't say they don't as an overall, right? But in this particular conversation, when we're talking about the woman being hit in the face with the brick and nobody helped her, right? In this particular conversation, Ghost and a couple of other people chimed in and said, we asked for equal rights, so why do we need a man to protect us physically?
Now, I'm not saying what he did was right. I mean, it was the brick wasn't right. But you got to think about this, too. From a man's point of view, you got a dude that's crazy enough to hit you in your face with a big-ass brick or whatever just because you ain't give him his phone number. Something ain't right with that motherfucker. But you want me to jump in. Girl, fuck you. Nope. I don't know you. I'm not putting my life on the line for you. No.
So we only help the women that we know?
Me? Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying to Enigma, right? What do you say to that? What is your position on that?
Well, I didn't know about this incident that you're talking about with the man getting hit the woman in the face.
A woman, yeah, it's in the story. It happened yesterday or the day before. This guy asked this woman for her phone number, was trying to talk to her, and she said no. And she wasn't trans, she was a lesbian. I'm finding that out now. It didn't read that. I didn't read that in the paper in Newsweek, but it just talked about how she turned him down and he turned around and hit her in the face with a brick.
Yeah. So
Nobody
like,
asked her.
if I was on the subway and I saw that, I would have interacted. I would have interacted because you ain't. A person has the right to turn your number down. You know what I mean? So, or turn your advancement down. So, if I was standing there and I saw that interaction, yeah, I would have intervened. I would have intervened on her behalf because that's not right.
Yeah.
And so, but a lot of these domestic disputes, sometimes you stay out of it because you will see them going back at each other. But an innocent woman, like that woman that you say got hit with a brick, she's innocent. So you have to protect the innocent. You know what I mean? So no, I definitely would have been me.
Okay. So that's two different perspectives on here. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, because that's where this whole debate came in. I was reading that story and I said, the woman looked in the crowd and she was like, y'all see this man hit me in the face and y'all not going to help me? And nobody helped her.
Yeah. And it's also the climate we live in today as well. You know what I mean? Like everybody is for themselves now. More people they'll pull out a phone cord before they actually intervene.
Yeah, they'll pull out phone for they call 911.
Yeah.
Or do that.
I
Call
know
911.
y'all heard about that the guy who was killed by the woman's hero son. He they were in a war in like a fast food restaurant, and
Oh yeah.
dude
Where
was
he
in.
slapped the dog shit out of him or punched
No,
her or something like
he
that.
punched her like 3 times and her
Yeah.
fire on him and killed him. But you seen the video, it wasn't nobody. It was brothers in there, and didn't nobody say, "Hey, young fella, hey, just be cool, man." You know what I mean? Because this is a woman, and she's not causing you no harm. Just be cool, just ignore her. If whatever she was saying, which when I saw the video, I didn't hear her say anything disrespectful to him. He was doing all the woofing. But you saw the video. It's just like somebody pulled out a phone rather than trying to say, "Hey, but just be cool."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Trying to de-escalate the situation.
exactly. It reminds me of a scene that was floating around on social media where this young kid was trying to rob this house in the middle of the night. I don't know if anybody on here seen this video. And the people were in the house at the time. The kid was trying to get through the window. And the owner came out with a shotgun and pointed it at the kid and asked the kid, what is he doing? And, he
Oh, in
said,
the backyard. It was in the
yeah, in the
backyard.
backyard. And he talked to the kid. He talked to the kid. He said, listen, you need money. Don't do this. Okay. Don't allow this to happen. And he talked to the kid. He said, I can help you. You want to sit here in the backyard, talk to me. If you need money, I can help you get a job or do whatever. He de-escalated the situation, sat down with
That
the
wasn't
kid.
a real situation. That was a setup video.
Oh, that was like a skit?
Yeah, that's why the guy with the gun never pointed the gun at the cameraman.
Right.
When
I didn't think
it was
that was
all
a camera.
skit.
I thought that was a camera from his house, like the Ring.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of those situations do be setups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I like that. Try to de-escalate the situation. But I also realize that people are afraid because they do want to go home at the end of the day. Right. And,
Yeah.
People are crazy. Like nothing is fair. Like you could say something to someone, even road rage is crazy these days. Like somebody will shoot you, arguing with them. You used to be able to put your middle finger up and be like, fuck you and keep driving. Now motherfuckers, they
Well,
take that to upper level.
before shoot shit out your ass. So you do think about it, especially if you have a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just ain't worth losing their dad over some incident. You know what I mean? That happens all the time. But I would say, like I said, for me, I have 8 sisters. I was raised by women, so I'm a protector. I'm the oldest of 10. So if I see it, I'm gonna try to de-escalate. Not necessarily get physical, but I'm gonna try to de-escalate it.
Exactly. I'm glad somebody the fuck said it. I'm glad somebody the fuck said it. But yet the black women suffers for it. These were white women on the women's suffrage line asking for equality, right? And the black women, okay, black people didn't even have equal rights, really, right? When all of this white movement was going on with the women's suffrage line, right? Black women, black people in general, I feel they fight for equal rights. And I agree with you, Pat, for black people. They, not just black women running around talking about we want equal rights. See, that's that white woman movement shit that started. Not that it's shit, because we probably needed it, but black women was not on that line, right? Black women are out here fighting for their black community, saying equal rights for us black folks in general. So that's why I be scratching my head in the black community, and I'm like, why are you mistreating us? Still struggling when these white people were getting these equal rights. We were still down there in the trenches with our black men. And like Pat said earlier, black women have been working from the beginning of time. They were homemakers, cleaning other people's motherfucking houses for pennies and shit like that. While their men, yes, was out there doing hard labor, but black women are suffering based on women's rights movements that they wasn't really a part of.
They're not. That is the white woman's movement. The black woman, the black man don't control nothing the black woman do. To say that she wants equal rights, she just joined that woman's movement to give her numbers, because she thought that she would be able to get the same thing that we got. But when you look at the statistics, white women out of high school make more money on average than black women with a college degree. So the rights did not work out for women, but they have been conditioned to think that they are a part of the women's movement, and it's solely for European women. Their man is the only one that controls their education, their health, and their finances.
Hence why the statement and the phrase is out there, black women are the least protected. Right? Because look what we're saying on this show today. Oh, I'm only protecting mine. People don't want to protect women but y'all are grouping black women into something, into a movement that they wasn't even a part of.
Yeah, but black women are the only ones that tell their men that they don't need them.
Who?
Facts.
You're talking about.
I don't ever say I don't need my. See, we take a population. We take a population of women and we broad stroke it with a paintbrush, because I think the phrase "I don't need my man" is misinterpreted. Now, when I say I don't need my man, I mean I don't need. Like right now, I'm single. Right now, I'm single. I mean, single in the sense that I live here in this house by myself. I'm not sharing any bills with anybody. I pay all my motherfucking bills by myself. When I say I don't need a man, I don't need a man to sustain the roof over my head. Because why? Because I've been placed in positions where I have no choice but to do it. And I've learned how to do it, right? So now I know I can do it by myself. I don't need a man to do this, right? But I do need a man for other things, right? Okay. But it's like men feel like they need to be needed financially, but I might not necessarily need you financially.
Okay.
Provide and protect. Like I said, you just
provide, protect. Thank you.
From us. You took a major thing from us.
Why? I didn't say I didn't want it. I didn't say I didn't want it. I said I don't need it, meaning that if my man get hit by a bus, I can still sustain the roof over my head. Why wouldn't you men want a woman that can do that?
Usually women want men that make more money. They want men.
I do.
They want men. That's what we were talking about that last show. So women don't share their resources with men like men share their resources with women, right? You count me as a man by what I provide. If I can't provide anything, then I'm useless. That's a man in society. Ghost mentioned that earlier about how a man don't complain. We just accept the situation that comes our way and do the best we can with it. Yep. All right, but because we from day one have to prove ourselves in order to be called a man. And a woman looks for finance.
I really just did that.
Besides the aesthetics, she looks for a man that can provide. So a man that don't feel like he can provide, don't feel like a man in a relationship. You can't be, unless you someone like Oprah Winfrey. I can't obtain that type of wealth, so I'm not gonna try to compare. But typically, men, or I mean, women want to have a man that make more money, and a man feels like he's perfect.
Yeah, I
And
left
that's
my shit outside the car.
it. But black women go on here and say they don't need their man. No other woman says this about their man. You don't hear the Asian, you don't hear the Arab, the Hispanic, you don't hear the Indian woman say that about her man at all. Even if she could afford to pay her own bills, she don't tell that to the Indian man.
Facts.
She need her man, just like I need the black woman.
Okay.
I would never say I don't need her.
I want to pause you here for a minute, right? Because you're right. I never heard a Chinese person or an Indian person say that, right? But I don't know many Indian women that have baby daddies. And I don't know many Asian women that have baby daddies, right? I don't know how many Asian women are dragging their men through child support court, or how many Asian women have been abandoned and left by their men, right? And so I don't know. I can't say, because I can only speak for my experiences in the community that I'm in, right? In my particular situation, my baby daddy became a whole crackhead, right? I needed him. I was homeless. He became a crackhead because I depended on him financially. When he became a crackhead, I started knocking on motherfuckers' doors to feed my son. I was losing weight. I had no choice but to enter into a realm of survival mode. I had to be able to survive for my child and myself. So I was pushed into a situation where I had to become this independent woman, to where I said to myself, I cannot depend on a man, because look, this motherfucker became a crackhead and left me out here, right? And so I don't know many Asian women or many Indian women, and I work with a bunch of them, but they never tell a story or have a story like that to tell, right? And so also in these cultures, right? Spanish, Mexican, you will pass by these motherfuckers' houses and they will be sleeping in there 10, 12 deep, right? In 2-bedroom apartments and shit like that, because they help each other. They help each other survive. I find that in the black community, our kids get to 18, we were throwing them out. We don't really help each other. People need places to stay, and we can have 2-3 bedroom houses with all these extra rooms, and we don't help each other out because we don't want to share our space. I feel like, from my experience, our culture moves different altogether from other cultures. So it's hard to really compare, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's been a hell of a thing that's been done to the black. I saw a video. I saw a photo in a Starbucks. It was we have a parade down in Chicago called the Bud Billiken Parade, and they showed a group of people, black people, at the Bud Billiken Parade. The women had on dresses, the men had on suit and ties, the girls had on dresses, the little boys had on suit and ties. They were sitting there in uniform as a family. Okay, that has been destroyed. The black family has been destroyed. Therefore, your foundation is destroyed. And that's why we're having problems today.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is individualized. White families have a white doctor. They all have their family doctor. They have a family lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any of that. And this is the problem, is that we don't want to get our families together. We celebrate the generation in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we celebrate. And that's the reason why we're in the condition we're in right now. No other culture has a BET. Show me the white BET or the Indian BET. Show me any white or Indian station that plays music that talks about
We
killing.
got Bollywood. Ding,
Bollywood,
ding, 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 ding.
yeah, but Bollywood is a movie genre. It's not a BET where it shows destructive stereotypes
That's
of,
true.
of Indian people.
That's true.
So we have all of these things going against us. The music, which is vibrational. The movies, which is vibrational. It changes the mind. I watched Bruce Lee as a kid. When I got through watching the movies, I was in the
I
house
want to
going,
fight.
wow.
Yeah,
Right?
me
I want
too.
to fight.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I want to be Bruce Lee. So when you listen to this music, it has the same effect on you. When you can say, that what's that song? You ain't even know it. When he said he put something in her drink and she ain't even know.
Rick Ross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rick Ross, he went home and enjoyed that. You will never get a Jewish musician to put a song like that out on Jewish station, or a European to put a song like that out on a European station. But it's allowed with us. And instead of us standing up, we saying, "Man, it's got a nice beat to it. I'm rocking with it."
And we talked about this last week, right? Using the word nigga, right? Now I'm guilty. I say it all the time, but I'm doing myself. I'm trying to change and try to be conscious when I use that word and not use it, because we have justified us saying it, but say nobody else can say it. But you don't hear other cultures calling each other crackers and wetbacks in their songs. You don't hear that.
Well, nigga was
You don't hear little people calling each other midgets.
yeah, but see, the word nigga was something used to degrade a race of people, right? And so it was in mainstream media. You know what I mean? So that it became a part of the culture. And
Because we made it a part of the culture.
no,
Because we made it a part of the culture.
but
If we did not make it a part of the culture, it would not exist.
we tried to take the sting away. That's what we did.
Why? Why? Nobody takes the sting away from
Because we
anything else that's derogatory in any other culture. Why do we feel like we need to take a sting off of something and consider calling ourselves something that was used to tear us down?
because we didn't control media. We didn't control any way that we can put out that message. We
Yes,
tried
you did. When you signed the
to do
contract deal, when you wrote your lyrics and your songs, just like you said earlier, they write the lyrics. A lot of these rappers write the lyrics in these songs, and we ignore it because we like the beat.
right. I'm going before that. We tried to change the narrative on the end. They went from Negro, Jesse Jackson coined African American, black, okay, Asiatic black. We tried to take the sting, to change the narrative, and we did. But then again, that word has been ingrained in us. It's been taught to us.
You're right, but that doesn't mean that we have to embrace it. This is some of the things that we talk about on here: unlearning toxic shit we were taught and we normalized over centuries and over years. You know what I'm saying? We normalize these things. These things are toxic, right? And we do, as a Black community, have control over changing the narrative if we stop using it. We cannot control the media. You're right. We cannot control the dynamics of what gets put out there. But we, as a Black community, don't have to use it.
But we're not a community.
And, well, that part.
Other than the fact that we live next to each other, we're
that
not.
Part. That's the problem.
And that's, like I said, the family is the foundation. That's not there.
How do we get that, though?
You have to separate. You have to separate from everybody. That's the only way. There's some brothers that got some money together, and they right now bought a big plot of land in Atlanta, and they're trying.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yes, those brothers, and you see, they're not trying to get everybody involved because they already know that you can't go with Black people, all Black people, not even majority of Black people. You got to get people who got the same mindset to start this movement. But everybody, their mindset is so corrupt, so degenerate, you can't get them to put their resources together. Even though, as a whole, we average trillions of dollars a year. We spend trillions of dollars a year, yet we're at the bottom of the totem pole financially. So there's a mentality that needs to change, and we need to separate. We need to do that Marcus Garvey shit when we talking about going back home. You got to come out of America, because as long as you here, the European control the narrative. Everything you see is European based, and the crazy thing is, you think you only 13% of this population. You are the majority of this population.
Yeah, definitely.
When they go for the politicals, for the voting, it's the Black vote that helps them get over.
Yeah.
During slavery, they said in their census that the slave outnumbered the slave master 6-1. There were a gang of us. We freed ourselves. They didn't sign no the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free us. We freed ourselves. You had Nat Turner uprisings everywhere. You had black people saying, you know what, they're going to do us anyway. We might as well fight for our freedom. And them whites got scared. That's the reason why they wrote the Emancipation Proclamation. Because all these slaves were just uprising, just killing everything, babies, dogs, you name it. So we have the power to do this, but we don't control the narrative of what happens up here. This is where the enslavement is now. It's not physical anymore. It's mental. So you got a bunch of people who are mentally enslaved. And see, how do you break that? You have to separate.
Yeah, that's deep. It's deep. It's a reality, but we need to do it, and we need to do it fast because things are not getting better. Say again, Ghost.
I said, I'm with Jared. Jared say separate the blacks from the lost niggas. Like, there's a difference between black people and niggas. And if you don't know the difference, you the nigga.
You the nigga. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He 100 on that.
Yeah. Yeah. You smart sometimes, Johnny. You are smart. Well, this was a good topic. Thank you, Ghost and Enigma Love, for jumping on and co-hosting with me. This is a great topic. This is something that, we need to talk about and deep dive into and come up with ways to build a community, right? Because we keep saying the Black community, but you're right. We don't really have a community.
I want to point out real quick.
Yeah.
I want to point out the fact that a lot of things that I say are my thoughts and the way that I know a lot of men think and feel about a lot of shit. That don't necessarily mean that that's all the things that I act out. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, at the end of the day, it's still what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to point that out, that I don't necessarily act on how I always feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm just putting it out there so the truth, so people can really understand the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The thought process of shit that's going on.
Well, I'm glad you did, because it brought out other aspects. Your thoughts help build branches to the rest of this conversation. So I appreciate that. That's the whole purpose of this show. It's not to get on here and all agree with the same thing, because we can't possibly learn if we're just all agreeing, right? Our thoughts are different. How we feel about different things are different. How we see things are different. Our perspectives are different. So we expect people to come on here with their opinions, right? And we challenge them. And ultimately, we walk away learning something from them, right? Because sometimes our thoughts are ours, but when somebody else says something, like y'all said a lot of shit on here that got me like, okay. It made me
was light as a motherfucker.
Look, so the accountability is on us. Before white supremacy even enters into the picture, we put ourselves at the negative. Like you get a man and a woman, they both broke, and they're having unprotected sex. The woman gets pregnant, and they still broke when the baby is born. So she got to go on distance. That's when the white supremacy come in, because that separates the family. You get your snake, father can't be in the house. Even though the statistics say that a child has 85% chance of being with both parents. But when you bring a child into the world and you're not financially able to do this, you enter in white supremacy, because you're going to get on them services. And anything you get for free is pleasurable. So that man can get it together. He can say, you know what, I got a good job with the railroad. I can get us a house. You can get off this Section 8. The black woman going to be like, no. Because she's been getting that Section 8 and it's pleasurable to her. So she don't want to let it go. So,
man, I know a chick right now that's been on Section 8 and housing and everything for at least 14, 15 years since I've known her. And she ain't trying to get off that motherfucker neither.
No, because you become lazy. And it's incentivized poverty. If you add it all up, even with the food stamps, the Medicaid, the cash assistance, the Section 8, you add that up, it's still poverty at the end of the year. Yep. You're not making more than $20,000. You probably be at $17,000, $18,000. That's the poverty line. And that's what you're accepting every single year. And you say, I don't want to get a job because it'll make me have to pay on my Section 8. and you put this mentality and you send it down to your children. Your kids turn 16, 17 years of age, they're gonna get a link card. You see what I'm saying? So it's this mentality. We have to take accountability from the very beginning and not engage in practices that puts us at a detriment financially, like bringing a child into the world.
Mhm. And you know what's so crazy with that? I remember when I had my son. I had my son at 16, and I had my son at 16, and I had to go to the welfare line. And I remember this day when I in Mount Vernon, I was dating this guy and he was against welfare. And I was like, oh my God, if he ever knew I had to stand in this line and get this money, he probably quit me, right? And so I remember I had to get on this line and the line was outside. You had to get there early. I stood on that line so embarrassed. And I remember standing on that line and I said, if I get this help, I'm going to take the help and I'm going to go work so I don't ever have to get on this shit again. Right. And I promise you, I got the help. They gave me like a one-time help to pay my rent and shit like that. And I tell you, I've been working ever since. I never got back on that line because I was embarrassed to stand on that line. Right. And
Mhm.
so when I do meet a population of people and they are on Section 8 and they still collecting food stamps and stuff, sometimes I say, well, what's the end goal, right? And some of them are like, I'm not giving up my benefits. If I get a job making too much money, they're going to take away my food stamps. But I'm like, but isn't that what you want? And some people don't want that. And so you're right. We become lazy, comfortable, you know, and that's where the system starts to control who we are.
Exactly.
I feel like
Even
child
even
support is like a small form of child slavery. It's like you letting this white man put a price tag on how much your child is worth to between you and the father. Like that's crazy to me.
that's why I don't get involved in their systems. Period. Like marriage, you have to go to the state to get married. That's the system. If I want to call a woman my wife, I don't need the state to do so. I don't need the state to tell me who I can love. If I want to leave something to her, I write a will. You don't need the state marriage in
You
order.
said if you want to do something to her, you'd write a bill.
I write a will if I
Will.
want
Oh,
to.
write a will. Right. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
state to tell me. You got to understand, marriage is a contract. It, um, it has nothing to do with love. It's a business contract. You get married to increase wealth and power. That's what you get married for. If you're married and your finances are great, but you're having issues, your issues is in your relationship. It's
Hmm.
separate from the marriage. The marriage is going great. You got a business, the bills are paid, you got money in the bank. Your relationship is what's in trouble. So that's what you need to focus on. The relationship. Everybody just goes straight to divorce, right? Instead of working on the relationship. That's the issue that we're having. You're tied to the state. Even with the political, the religious, all of that shit is you're tied to the state. You got to separate from that shit.
Mm. I mean, I was in a relationship for 20 years with someone, and people, was like, oh, you giving the milk away for free. But really, I wasn't. Like, people thought that because we wasn't legally married, but we were legally domestic partnership. We had a lawyer, we had paperwork. I was his beneficiary. I was getting all the benefits that anybody else would get. We had life insurance policies in my name, separate from what he would leave his parents. I didn't want to fight his parents. I need my own policy. And so we had our own stuff set up to protect ourselves in the event. We owned a house together that was a part of our paperwork with our lawyer. So I don't want to argue with his family if he get hit by a bus, and I don't need him arguing with my family. And so we had all the paperwork, but people was like, oh, y'all not married. But I was like, I'm still getting all the same benefits.
Yeah, what's the difference between a girlfriend and a wife?
Well, it's a difference between a girlfriend and a wife based on how you treat her, what you call her, and the position that you place her in your life, right?
Wait, no, no, Ghost. You
No,
are you married?
He's married.
I am.
Okay. Before you got married to your wife, did y'all live together?
No. And
Y'all
shit,
did.
to be honest with you, nigga, we halfway live together now.
They live separate
But
now.
but let me ask you something. When you got married, what changed?
For the most part, the whole kind of living together now type shit. Other than
That's only
that, nothing. Like the
nothing.
life that she lived, her hanging out with her friends, her going on trips, like whatever, everything that she was doing before I came along, she's still fucking doing.
She's still
Like
doing
nothing changed.
exactly. Exactly. The wife and the girlfriend are the same. The same
Right.
relationship.
And I agree with that based on how you place them, right, in your life, right? Because you could just have a girlfriend, you just treat her like a girlfriend. But you could have a
Now,
girlfriend that you treat them like they're more than,
In
you know,
what
okay, I
in what
will
way?
say this. I will say this. Now,
incorporating them in
when
your life. They know your family. You could just have a girlfriend and you're not really incorporating them in your life. But if you have a girlfriend where you're incorporating her in your life, y'all are doing things together, y'all are growing financially together. You're like me and my domestic partner, we're investing together, we're protecting each other with paperwork. That's a little bit more to me than a girlfriend,
I will
you know,
say now,
because I
when
don't
it was
invest with
just
every boyfriend that I'm with
when it was
or
just a
girlfriend.
girlfriend, yeah, when she was just my girlfriend, or even before that, let's say when we were just dating, getting to know each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would do a little shit for her, you know what I'm saying, but there's only so far that I would go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then once we got into a relationship to where that's actually my girlfriend, okay, you know what I'm saying, I'll do a little bit more for you. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You know, I go a little bit more out of my way for you. Now, the moment that she became my wife, I die for that fucking woman. Like on some real shit. Like it don't fucking matter. Like I go to hell and back for that woman. I mean, ain't nothing that I wouldn't do for her. Now, just as a girlfriend, like I kind of had that thought or feeling whatever towards her because I felt like in my heart that I knew that was gonna be my wife. But before that feeling actually came, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't have done as much. You know what I'm saying, I wouldn't have done as much. But so I mean, there's still levels to certain shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you don't expect certain things to change as far as like the dynamic of your relationship, but your feelings towards that person and what you're willing and not willing to do changes. For me, anyway.
How long were you with your girl before y'all got married?
Officially dating, like became my girlfriend from July till March 31st. From July last year to March 31st of this year.
March 30.
But we had been talking and dating, getting to know each other, whatever, since like January of last year.
Okay. I think the dynamic changes a lot when you invest a long period of time. You with a woman 7 years.
I
When
was
you get
before her. I was with my daughter's mother for 8 years. I ain't never had a conversation about marrying that motherfucker.
wait, how old were you when you started dating her?
About 30, 31, 30? No,
What?
29, some 29, 30, somewhere around there.
Okay. Damn, bro, how old are you?
I'm 38.
38? Yeah, okay, so you got a new thing coming. But I think when it comes to the girlfriend, when you have time invested, right? Like uh, my ex, when I was with her, I treated her like my wife, like a wife. There was nothing I wouldn't do for her. You know what I mean? Car go down, I got it. Rent go down. We lived in separate places. So she lose her rent. I mean her income. I cover the bills because that's the love I have for her. We had invested years in one another.
Mm.
So if I just say it's after 7 years and we get married, there's nothing that's going to change.
This was Chicago doing.
You say it's what Chicago.
That's what
I
Chicago
don't
doing.
know
I
that's
need to
what
move.
Chicago is doing. I know what I do. I'm not. Again, I told you I was raised by women. I got 8 sisters under me. I got to be an example. So any woman that me, I'm gonna take care of her. You know what I mean? Ain't no divorce for me. If I got married, ain't no divorce. We gonna work that shit out. We gonna talk. You know what I mean? Because there ain't no need to invest all that time, all them years you can't get back in the individual and then divorce. Don't make no sense. So it's cheaper to keep them. That's what they say.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I always say, I love when you guys share your various perspectives. I don't always agree, but that's not what the show is for. It's not for me to agree with everything, right? It's for us to be able to express, our perspectives and learn from each other. And I love it. All right. Cheryl Lee said, in
No
my
more, my
opinion,
nigga.
it's
I
about
like
if
you.
you're building together, not as what title women or man should be given. That's true. Where did it out people get this marriage from? Where did it come from? Oh wait. Oh, where did marriage come from?
Marriage actually, marriage was a way where families would join together, overtake right a kingdom. That's why I said marriage brings wealth. So offer up a male, one family will offer up a female. That made it a blood tie. That's why families run the world now. You look at the Oberheim, at the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. Those are families that sit at the tip of the tip. So that's what marriage brought in. It was a way to create um, wealth. It's just that everybody's culture started introducing, their various.
Am I the only one hearing this dinging?
No, that's me. People are because I'm
Oh,
still on live and I'm starting to get activity on my computer. That's all. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah, so
normally my work thing is normally on, so I don't get all of that interruption, but I'm way past my time. But go ahead.
you started. People started adding in their cultural things to marriage. That's where you get ceremonies of that nature added to marriage, adding religion into marriage. That had nothing to do with religion, even though they'll tell you that God marriage was, but it pre-exists the idea of religion because people were being married before there were books. So before you even read it in a book, people were getting married. You got to think the Bible is just it's a new book. The printing press came out in the 1400s. So before that, there were no books. Everything was really word of mouth. And there wasn't a lot of scrolls around for everybody to know. You didn't have an abundance of books or scrolls like you have today. You can go to the library and get that information. So I think that's important to understand. It's like marriage has nothing to do with religion, has nothing to do with love. It was a power move for, for families to gain wealth and to gain power.
And
yeah,
you
I was
know
like,
what?
'cause if I'm not
Black
mistaken,
people didn't even Black people didn't even get married on paper during slave times, right? They just jumped the broom and then they were married, right? And there was nothing in a court or anything because they didn't allow Black people to get married that way, right? You just got married on a plantation, jumped the broom, and then you were married. But today, when a population of people say they don't believe in marriage by the system, people get confused by that. And I go, well, there was a time that your great 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 grandmother wasn't probably legally married to your great 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 grandfather, not by the system,
yeah, I was
but they were married as far as they're concerned. Like Shirley said earlier, you can have vows between each other, and you don't have to let the court decide what that means in your
that's
relationship.
like if you read the paperwork on marriage and whatnot, like it's pretty much saying that the state is your father and is giving you away and giving you permission to do this.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah. That's why you got to go through to get divorced.
exactly. Yeah. This was good, y'all. This is probably going to carry on until tomorrow because Johnny asked a really good question earlier about our community. And so, I mean, and just the mere fact, the question that arose here in this conversation by Enigma, or the statement that was made when you said we don't have a community, what does that mean? And where do we start, right? You said separate, Shirley said no, or Pat said no, that's not a great idea. We need to do it together. But how do we do it together? We can't even come together in small populations when we talk about even in our own family units. So how do people
You can't you can't you
come
can't
together?
you can't do it together because you have different cultures. We can't go to Indian join this culture. It's totally different. You can't go to China and join their culture. They're totally different. Only date amongst themselves because they don't want anyone to dilute their culture. You
Mm,
understand? This is not something we can do with everyone. This is something we must do amongst ourselves. Okay, that's the only way we can do it. If you're comfortable living in this country where the European male controls everything, then you have that same slave mentality of the house nigga. Okay,
Facts.
You have to have it for yourself. You have to control your own import, export, your own hospitals, your own food. I see on TikTok is black people complaining about the food. It's like, well, create your own grocery store because the European gonna give you fake food.
Oh
If you
yeah,
don't
you see that fake chicken shit that they're making now. The FDA just approved that fake
the
chicken
fake
shit.
chicken, the fake watermelon, all
Yep, the
fake
fake
fruit,
watermelon,
shit.
the
That's
fake cabbage.
yeah. So it's like you have all this money to spend. You don't ever come together to say, you know what, let's create our own hospital. Since black women don't get the type of health care that they're supposed to get like white women do, then let's create our own hospitals for our women. Let's create our own grocery store so we can feed our children and give them nutrients like they're supposed to get. Because we're not the same. We're on the European health level. Okay, you need more water. You need more sunlight. So if you look up their health level, they tell you how much sunlight you get. They're going to give you what they need, not what you need. You're genetically different from them. So that's another aspect that we don't realize is that we're not out of our mind. We're out of the European mind. You think like the European and you move like him. You eat like him. Any conqueror that comes along, they bring two things. They bring their diet and they bring their religion. And that's exactly what you own. You own their diet and you practice their religion. There's more black people with white Jesus on their wall, right? Than any culture. White Jesus. Every other
Even though
culture,
he
Jesus
describes being
resembles
black.
them. Right.
Now that's a good point, Cheryl. Black people have had successful communities, and they've been burned, bombed, and flooded.
That's true. I
I was
mean,
like
we
Tulsa,
mentioned Black
Oklahoma.
Wall Street.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yep.
Tulsa,
I was
one
like,
in
I
North.
just went there
Yep.
I just went there last year or the year before.
Of course, that's why I said separation. You cannot mix with this European. You can't. You have to separate from him because wherever he go on the planet, he never live in peace with the people from the land that he visits.
Nope.
That's historically true. European, the only person that dropped an atomic bomb on a group of people. All right, and he mentioned Tulsa, Oklahoma. They used airplanes to bomb Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was the only time airplanes bombed in this country. So you can't mix with them. You can't work it out with them. You have to.
Listen, this was a deep day. This was definitely a deep day, and I appreciate y'all. But my corporate job pays the bills here, and I gotta get. Unlike Ghost, who's already working and in flight with his job and driving around,
No.
because Zen just told you off, Ghost. I don't know if you saw that when you like, what's all that dinging? And he said all that noise you be making at work, and we have to keep turning you down, and you and Peanut be arguing on here. We got to keep turning you down. I know you're not complaining about the dinging on my laptop. That's what Zen said.
I wasn't complaining. I was like, man, and I be trying to tell Peanut to shut the fuck out. Like, don't come here with all that loud shit.
I know you do. But y'all, I gotta go because I gotta check into work because I'm pretty sure people are gonna start looking for me. But I appreciate you guys joining me, Ghost, Enigma Love. Listen, I love this. Anytime people want to jump on and be a part of the conversation in person, I'm all for that. All right, this platform is not just for me; it's for all of us to be able to share our various perspectives. And again, we're not all going to agree on the same thing, right? But the goal is to learn from each other, right? Be open to different perspectives, be open to learning different things, because again, a lot of times we have learned toxic things and we have normalized them, and we really believe that this is the way we should be living, this is the way we should be thinking, until we expand on our thoughts and our knowledge and we talk to other people and we share. Right. And so I love it. Thank you so much for joining the show. I'm going to give y'all something positive to go out with. Y'all know a couple of announcements. Houston, Texas is coming up November. Well, September 16th, I'll be in Bowie, Maryland, supporting Johnny Leon Hill, who's in the Rotten Apple play. Anybody that wants to be a part of that, please go and buy your ticket. I shared the event. I could put it up on the board again so that you guys have it, so you know exactly where to go buy your tickets from for the show. Please make sure you get your tickets, because based on No, I showed the wrong thing. Based on the seating, tickets are going fast. I got great seats. I'm on the end because I need to be able to stretch out. I need to be able to pee when I want to. And so I will be there in full effect supporting Johnny Leon Hill in the play Rotten Apple. All right. Because I support those who support me. All right. And then next thing is Houston. We are coming November 16th to November 20th. We will be in Houston. We are going to have activities in Houston. And then over the weekend while we are there, we will be in Galveston, Texas at a beach house. That is where our games, our topics, coffee with friends after dark, wine tasting, Friendsgiving, all those activities are going to happen at the beach house in Galveston. You know, we're going to have rules. Hopefully you guys follow the rules, but ultimately don't bring your ass there if you're jealous, okay? Because we ain't trying to, nobody there trying to take your mans, nobody there trying to take your woman. We just there trying to have a good time. That's it and that's all. So don't come there getting jealous, all right? Period. Because I'm coming with the shits. The fuck I
Leave
am.
all your bad attitudes at home. Leave that shit at home.
Oh, that part too. If you feel like you angry and you want to argue, stay the fuck home or get a hotel room because
we put up with that shit.
We don't want it. We don't want none of it. Because as soon as you start arguing and fighting, we're going to put your ass outside in the sand. Goodbye. Okay? And so those are my announcements. Thank you, Enigma, for joining. Thank you, Ghost. I'm going to turn your cameras off. Peace. And then I'm going to start y'all, end the day with go, because no matter how low you feel, you can still go. Oh my God, I just love y'all. In the meantime, between time, peace and love, y'all.
Feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still
and
go.
You can.
I never answer to no.
Hey, this is Coffee with Friends, and I am Roy to Debo. Come back tomorrow. Ooh, tomorrow I'm gonna be on late, y'all. I got training at 7:30 in the morning, but I'll be here. Peace and love. Hustle hard. Hey, I'll be making moves. What? I've been doing shit my way on the highway. Yes, Jerry, come on. Come to Houston, Texas. You're invited. Everybody's invited. Hey. Anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredients. What? Even when you feel low. Hey. Hey, I never answer to no, man, I still go. Peace, y'all. I'm out.